Hi, everybody. This is Jeffrey. This is Ripecolor. Sorry for the bounce. This is the reading for the collective for the week of December 18th through the 25th. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, press the bell for notifications. Please become a member. Membership is $2.99 a month and allows you to watch these videos commercial free. I'll be adding more content this year to my membership portal. So I have a little mini message. I had to write it down. Let the light in. Let the light in. You know, it's Hanukkah and Christmas and the solstice. Let the light in. Open your heart. So, you know what I think that is? I think like that there might be people who are in touch with you that you sort of like, this one again, and they want to extend kindness. And, you know, your job is to receive the kindness and also maybe to extend kindness to somebody, or it's time to forgive. That's what it is. It's time to forgive. It's time to forgive and not forget. I didn't say that. It's time to forgive and move forward. And it's not only forgiving, you know, people who've done you wrong, la 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 la, or people who don't do what you want them to do, which is, you know, almost everybody. It's time to forgive yourself. That's the energy. Wow. All right. Let's see what the cards have to say. I've been making them at night because it's quieter, but it's I need to make videos, you know, so I'm doing them during the day. I might cut out in the afternoon. All right. Wow. All right. We start with the King of Swords. The King of Swords, I always feel, is like a surgeon. He's like a surgeon, a butcher. So he, you know, the reason we forgive people is not so much for them, it's for us. Because carrying around negative energy, carrying around resentment, carrying around anger without expressing it, or with, you know, just keep on feeding it, it just does us no good. It just does us no good. All right. Then I have the Emperor. The Emperor is about stability. So I think, you know, cutting out this this sense of, you know, anger, resentment, maybe entitlement, or even hurt, right? Even hurt. I'm not saying don't feel the feelings, but then let it go through you. You know, that's a feeling is a moment. It's not it doesn't have to, you know, shade and color everything you do. It's like have the feeling, let it go through you, and so you can open up to new things. And I have the Emperor, and the Emperor is really about stability, and he's really about delegating. It's the energy of Mars. It's about action, and it's really about, a lot of times what I feel the Emperor is about taking your power back. It's about, you know, saying, I'm the Emperor in my life. Excuse me. Coffee. I'm the Emperor in my life. It all stems from my thought, from my action. It's, you know, because if you're in a state of like anger or resentment towards somebody, you're giving them all your power. And if you just say, okay, they did the best they could do, it doesn't mean I have to invite them back in my life. It doesn't mean I'm going to lend them more money if they already owe me money. It doesn't mean that. It just like, okay, I'm going to forgive that debt. I'm going to forgive that, you know, that they stepped on my toes, whatever. And I'm just going to move on because I don't really want to carry this around anymore. And that's what that, it's like, I'm not carrying this around anymore. I'm going to take my power back. And then I have the card of strength. And strength is a really profound card. So strength is the card of Leo. The Emperor, by the way, is Aries. Strength is the card of Leo, and strength is about union of body and mind. It's also about union with spirit, union with like the compassionate, loving part. Like the feminine, comforting, loving aspect of the Godhead. And it's really about taming oneself or allowing oneself to be tamed by spirit. And sometimes like I'm a fierce individualist, right? So it's like, well, I don't really want to be tamed. And, sometimes in order to really move forward, I have to, or we have to, uh, you know, tame ourselves. So that, it's like if I lash out in anger, then maybe I'll look like a fool, or maybe, there's no point in it if it's not going to accomplish anything, right? If it's not going, I'm not saying don't feel it, but it's like, do I really need to tell somebody off if they're not really hearing it anyway? Or do I really need to like get into like a whole gossip thing and, keep on feeding this, bad feeling? Or can I just let it go? Or can I just let it go and like let the spirit take care of it? You know, and the other thing about the strength card, because it's a card of Leo, Leo is based in the heart. So the thing is, the more I'm able or we're able to forgive others, the more I'm able to forgive myself. Because a lot of times, what's going on in our life and it is a mirror. A lot of times it's easy to see what's wrong with this one or that one because it's like, I got it. So like, I already know. I don't really want to admit it to myself, but I see it in you so that I don't have to take responsibility for it myself, right? All right. It's quite the opening. Yeah. I feel like underneath the anger is really like grief and disappointment. And maybe that's what you've been avoiding feeling, right? A lot of times my experience is that a lot of times when I'm angry, what's really going on is I'm really hurt. And the opposite is also true. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it's like I'm actually really angry. It's a little bit strange how they're kind of cousins. Um, so allow yourself to feel it and allow it to go down the river, right? Allow yourself to feel it go through you and then move on and then move forward. And the other thing is, it's the dark time of year. I mean, in the Northern Hemisphere, right? Shortest day of the year. And then the miracle is that the sun starts coming back up again and, it gets less dark or it's not dark as long, blah, blah, blah. This is really about relying on one's own inner light, relying on one's own inner light to, if you have to say, help me to feel these feelings, help me to, move forward, help me to move forward from this pain, from this anguish, from this resentment, from this ill feeling, because I really want to move on to the rest of my life. Yeah, and begin anew. And begin anew. I really love the Fool card. The Fool is there's an innocence about the Fool. There's an energy of anything can happen. There's an energy of I think I'll try something new. I'm off on a new adventure. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I have high hopes for the future. I'm willing to take a risk. I'm optimistic. And the thing about the Fool too is that it's like uncharted territory. It's uncharted territory, but it's exciting. It's not, oh, well, sometimes, you read something on the internet or something. It's like, oh, this is really a dangerous place, or this is, whatever. And it's like, you have to check, yourself. Like, does it ring true to me? Does it ring true to me? Because, otherwise if we rely too much on other people's um, um, opinions, understandings, then, most people live in a lot of fear. And it's like, oh, well, don't try anything new. Don't try anything new. It's got to fit into this and this category. Oh, you can't do that. It's like, listen to your heart, listen to your soul as to where it wants to go, what it wants to experience, especially if you've let go of the past. And, it's the end of the year. So it's like a perfect time to like, that was then. So some of the ancient civilizations, I know, they would do this thing that after a certain amount of years, depending on the civilization, what year, what number was holy, all debts, you don't owe me anything anymore, we're starting afresh. And sometimes it's like that in a friendship or in a relationship. It's like, okay, you were having a moment, you weren't very nice to me, and I love you enough and I love me enough, depending on the situation. I'm not saying if somebody ripped off like a lot of money from you, you're supposed to say, oh, well, why don't you come over for lunch? But holding on to something other than light is not good for us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And, when it comes up, because sometimes, you have to release it more than once. When it comes up again, it's like, take this from me, replace this with something else, replace this. It's almost like you bought something at the store, it didn't fit, right? You go back and they don't have your size. And it's like, okay, well, and they're not going to give you your money back. I really wanted the blue one, but the green one is similar and it fits, and I'll take it. I know it's a weird example. Yeah, because this will help you expand to something else. This is going to help you expand, and it gets creative, and there's hope, in a new land. There's hope in a new way of looking at things. There's like a sense of anticipation of good things to come. Wow. I'm getting a lot of yellow cards, and yellow is really the color in the cards. I mean, it's in general, and my plan is to paint that wall yellow. It's joy. It's joy. It's optimism. It's openness. It's spirit. It's enthusiasm. A sense of wonder. Now that I've lifted this burden, or allowed this burden to be lifted from me, my soul opens up to the light, opens up to the possibilities, opens up to the wonder. Yeah. And then I can actually get to work on what I want to get to work on. Instead of, oh, this person did me wrong, and therefore I can't move on in my life. And then, and then, all that. The thing about the eight is awareness. And the Eight of Pentacles, I always understand, is whistle while you work. So it's this understanding of doing something that you really love to do, right? And you're working away at it. You're working away, la, 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 la. And you're accomplishing your goal, and you're learning as you go, and you're perfecting your craft. And it might be about learning something new. And as you're doing it and understanding it, and you're kind of into it, in the middle of, from between one action and the next action, It's like, that's where you open up to new ideas. That's where like the new ideas come through. And that's where spirit has like a space to come in and say, try it like that. Or make it out of this instead, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I really like that quote a lot. Yeah, building a new garden. It's interesting because there's a sense of anticipation in that one, but there's also a sense of hope, a sense of I've taken the right action toward the right thing, and it's only a matter of time before it grows. It's only a matter of time before it grows. It's really like planting a garden. So, you buy a little plant. So years ago, I bought really inexpensive succulents, really inexpensive, but they were teeny tiny. And they came in the mail without any soil, because succulents can almost live in anything. And then I planted them. I got the right soil, and they were like little pots, and they grew. They grew, and in only a few months. And it was like, well, it filled the pot. And it's understanding. It's like, well, I got these succulents. I saw some yesterday on the street too. I got these succulents. I did the right thing. I put them in the light. I gave them the right soil, and then they grew. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Yeah. Look, the whole thing's about to change. This is about evolution of the soul. This is about evolution of the soul. That's the way I always understand this card. This is about, moving forward. This is about having understood the experience, or having it's about evolution of the soul. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's what I always see it. And evolving also a lot of times means letting go of the past, like understanding that the past was the past, uh, understanding it as an experience, taking it with you as an experience. And it's like, okay, that was then, and that, I learned this, and I met this one, and blah, blah, blah. And now it's time to move forward. It's almost like it was like a tool that I learned how to use. And now I put that, let's say I didn't know how to use a hammer. So now I know how to use a hammer, and I knew how to use the other end to pull out nails, et cetera, et cetera. And now that I understand it, I put it in my toolbox. It's an experience, and I could use it, utilize it again if I need to. And now it's the time to learn how to use a screwdriver, or, the saw, or whatever. Kind of odd example. I just bought a toolbox the other day because I had so many tools and I wanted them out of the kitchen. This is really interesting because a lot of times I see this as like not taking the gift. Like it's not good enough, but I really feel like in this one it is. I feel like there's this opportunity to heal, an opportunity for more intuition to come through, an opportunity for light and for emotional balance. Here's the opportunity. And I think maybe in the past you've been like, if somebody wants to make up with you, when you're a little kid, right? And you and your little friend had a fight, and then oh, you took my truck, whatever. And then mommy's like, oh, make up, and you're like, man, I don't want to make up, I don't want to make up. And then you make up, and like you're friends again, and you kind of forgot it. It's a choice. It's a choice. And this is union. This is union of it's union of like of the Godhead and humanity, but it's also union of like the feminine and the masculine aspects of oneself, right? And sometimes all of us are on one end or the other, and like to be on the masculine end, you know, in a very dominant way, in a negative way, would be like, this is what I want, I'm going to get it, and I don't really care, right? Like that aggression. And then to be on the feminine end and to be, you know, in the negative aspect of it is like, I feel all my whole life is just feeling. I only, you know, and not, you know, taking action on it. Just like, oh well, someone did me wrong, and so therefore I'm going to be in mourning forever, and I'm going to be in, you know, I'm going to be in that forever, and I'm not going to take any action, you know. And I feel like there's this new configuration, a new uh, mm, recipe that you have the opportunity to dive into, which is really about giving and receiving. It's about taking action and and sitting back at the same time, you know, doing both. And you know, I mean, the first thing I said is let the light in, and here's the light. Here's the light. It's real. It's real. So there's a real opportunity to let more light in and more forgiveness and more hope, you know, that is um, that comes through. I'm going to show you the cards. Away we go. And then I think I'm going to eat or take a walk. Okay. Cutting out what's unnecessary because you're in charge. Allowing spirit to comfort you and lead you toward your destiny of receiving and having a sense of anticipation and creativity on this new road, because you experienced and let go of the grief. Now sitting in a sense of wonder, being able to, you know, work at what you want to work at, that's creative and beneficial, and that'll make you money. Planting new seeds in a new garden, and living in the light of spirit and the balance, living in the balance. Really, really lovely, really lovely. And you know what? Really lovely. Blessings. See you soon.